Hi guys, and welcome back to Rachel's Enchanting Cakes. Now for today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to use the sugar sheet cake trend of 2020, but again in a different way. This time we're going to be making these beautifully sparkly, 100% edible and super easy rainbows for your beautiful rainbow cakes. As always, everything you need to know in a simple, detailed, step-by-step format, but also straight to the point. Happy baking, guys, and let's make a start. For each colour of the rainbow, you want to weigh out 90 grams of caster sugar and place this into a sealable, food-grade bag. Taking a colour of the rainbow, so I'm starting with red, simply apply this directly to the inside of the bag, seal it up, and then with your fingers you just want to constantly rub this together. Eventually, when you have rubbed it enough, the sugar will have turned the colour of your choice. Remember to repeat this process another 5 times with the other colours of the rainbow. Once you have added enough food colouring, place the caster sugar back into the bowl. You now want to add 1 level tablespoon of liquid glucose. You will find liquid glucose an awful lot easier to use if you apply the actual tub that it's in to some hot water first, as it just helps it go more runny. I then start by stirring this with a spoon, and then you just want to get your hands in there and get it really well mixed together until it all comes together and it's well incorporated. Simply place this back into the food safe bag that you coloured it in and repeat this process for the other 5 colours. Now, in order to use the sugar sheet technique with a rainbow, you will need your own mould. I have made this mould myself. It's very easy to do, and I have a separate tutorial on how to make your own rainbow mould in the description below this video on my YouTube channel. Start by taking each colour. We're going to be doing one at a time. You want to use a very, very, very small amount. So I'm starting with red along the outside, and then you gently place it in that indentation that we have on the mould. This is quite a time-consuming process, especially if you're covering a large cake, but it's worth it because it looks absolutely beautiful. And to be honest, I've never seen a rainbow cake done with sugar sheets before. Simply repeat this with all of the other colours, and I'm going to speed up this process now just so that you can see how it all comes together. So you can see how easy it is to actually do. Now, I have taken my time with that because I don't want it to accidentally overlap onto where the orange is going to be. The more I did it, I found if you roll it into sausage shapes, you can do it just that little bit faster. It will break up slightly, but then you just get another sausage shape. Now, with the orange one, I allow it to overlap onto the red. The red's going to be the first colour that you're going to see. So if it overlaps onto the back, the part that is going to be touching the cake, firstly, it will help it all stick together. However, it will also make it an awful lot easier to apply the rest of the colours. Another great tip for you, after you've applied your second colour, if you just take some baking paper or baking parchment, because it's non-stick, and then just push it down, you're pushing both of the colours together so they're really well stuck together, and you're keeping the shape on there without ending up in a sticky mess. So I also do this after applying each individual colour. Here you can see me apply the yellow colour, but also using the baking paper technique just to help push it down and stick it together with the other colours that are already on there. Again, just repeating that process, but with the green. Here you can see me adding the blue. I will also point out that even though I've only made a small amount of sugar sheet recipe for each colour, I had plenty left over and it made enough rainbows to cover a 10-inch round cake. And last but not least, we add the violet. This then gets placed in the oven at 50 degrees centigrade for precisely 10 minutes. This just allows the sugar sheet to set, and once fully cooled, we will be able to remove it from the mould with ease. This has been taken out of the oven and left to completely cool, and I've placed some baking paper on my work surface just to allow the sugar sheet to go directly on there. You then want to just gently pull away the mould, and you will have your sugar sheet rainbow. If you leave this just to go a little bit colder, it will be more stable in order for you to be able to pick it up. But just shape it a little bit more. You can see I've got a little bit red sticking out on the outside, so I just cut that off with a knife, and you've got your perfect rainbows, and they really are as easy to make as that. There is one more little thing that we need to do just to make it simple to apply to the actual cake. In order to cut the rainbows so that they are all identical, I use what I use to make the actual mould in the first place. I place it on top, and then I just cut around the outside. Remember, there is a detailed tutorial which I will leave a link to in the description below this YouTube video on how to make your own food safe moulds. I simply repeat this for every rainbow apart from the last one. The last rainbow that's added to the cake, I just cut freehand, and it's just a little bit smaller than all of the others. But when they're all together wrapped round the outside of the cake, you can barely notice. Once my rainbows were cut into shape, all I did was place them with some edible glue directly onto some fondant and then cut around the outside. This will just allow you to pick the rainbow up an awful lot easier when applying it directly to the cake. Now obviously I've made sure the fondant was the same colour as the cake. Here you can see me use a steamer, which is what I'm going to use to apply the rainbows on there. Do not worry if you don't have a steamer. You can just simply add some edible glue directly to the fondant back of the rainbow and then place it directly onto here. I'm now going to speed this part up just so that you can see how easy it is to apply these beautiful rainbows. There you can see the bit of the blue that I was talking about just to help me pick up the rainbow without damaging it. These will be perfectly fine once they're on the cake because the cake is supporting everything and they literally just slot together. It really is as easy as that. Simply cover all of the cake, but remember to leave the last rainbow uncut and do that freehand when you get to the end, and it'll just be slightly smaller than all of the others. Happy baking, guys. I really do hope I've helped you again today, and I'll be back soon with more new, completely free content.